Welcome to Astral Visionary Chosen Ones. Let's speak about that obvious glow you have. The one that distinguishes you, makes you stand out, and attracts attention wherever you go. That light, it's not an accident. It is the outcome of your resilience, purpose, and resolve to accept mediocrity. While many people appreciate it, others are completely overwhelmed. That's correct. Your brilliance does more than merely brighten your way. It reveals the vulnerabilities of people observing from the sidelines. So, whether you've recently experienced the sting of jealousy, whispering behind your back, shade thrown your way, or downright animosity, it's not because you've done anything wrong. It's because you are too intelligent for them to overlook. Let me be clear. Envy is not your burden. This is your badge. It demonstrates that you're on the correct road by doing the things they wish they had the confidence to do. Today we'll look at why you've been targeted and why jealousy is the ultimate confirmation of your quest. You're not here to darken your light for the sake of others' comfort. You are here to rise shamelessly. And this is only the beginning. Excelling in any subject has a strange effect of accentuating the inner struggles of others around you. While your triumphs may shine like a guiding beacon, they also reveal areas where others believe you stumble. This exposure is not intentional on your side. For those who are already struggling with self-doubt, aiming for greatness has unforeseen consequences. This contrast might seem like a glaring spotlight, making it impossible for them to ignore their perceived flaws. What adds to their discomfort is that your accomplishments push them to face facts they've previously ignored. Perhaps they've been afraid to take risks, failed to put in the necessary work, or underestimated their own skills. These previously latent realizations emerge when they are measured against your success. This isn't a wound you've caused. It's one they've had all along. Your progress just showed it. Instead of confronting their own conflicts, it frequently seems simpler to focus their fury outside. Undermining or criticizing yourself becomes a technique of avoiding the difficult process of self-reflection. The irony is in the agony of exclusion. They don't begrudge your accomplishments just because they're outstanding. They resent them because they were not asked to share the glory. According to their thinking, if they cannot gain from your trip, they will attempt to derail it. Envy lives on distraction, not self-improvement. So, whether you receive unfair criticism or veiled hostility, see it as a tacit validation of your influence. It's not a failure on your side, but rather a demonstration of how strongly your presence undermines their narrative. Envy stems not from admiration, but from the misery of feeling outrun and unable to catch up. It's not a desire for what someone else has, but rather a profound irritation with the impossibility of getting it, no matter how hard you try. The anguish does not stem from the benefits themselves. It is an accepting that some qualities, desire, or daring to seek possibilities are beyond their grasp. This understanding is caused by internal constraints people are unable to overcome, rather than external situations. The hurt becomes more intense when they observe the purposeful work and dedication that led to achievement. It serves as a reminder of the opportunities they missed, the dangers they dreaded, and the energies they restrained. This self-awareness does not motivate them to reflect. It causes people to turn their anxiety outward, toward others who exemplify the characteristics they lack. Criticizing others is less unpleasant than confronting the reality of their stagnation. Their fury creates a vicious circle of passive resistance, whispered critiques, premeditated interruptions, and undermining plans. They understand that these behaviors will not enhance their standing or alter their reality, but they hold out hope that bringing others down would cover their own shortcomings. Watching someone prosper despite their efforts just reinforces their feelings of failure. Finally, jealousy is the result of unfulfilled ambitions. It was not caused by those who excelled, Their very existence exposes a wound. The more success emphasizes the gap between goal and action, the more painful the reality becomes. The hatred people bear does not change the course of others, but it does highlight their own battle to reconcile aspirations with realities. This is your opportunity to shine. Subscribe now and let's make it memorable. What concerns them is not simply your recent accomplishments, but the almost unlimited path they envision opening before you. They are uneasy not because of your current situation. It's the sheer potential of who you may become. They see your unwavering determination, your ability to adapt and improve, and know that you are still a long way from attaining your full potential. This understanding greatly unsettles them, since it puts a harsh light on their own inaction. Potential has a unique weight, one that reinforces their feelings of inferiority. Each step you take toward improvement serves as a reminder of the decisions they've avoided, the chances they were too afraid to take. It is not enough for them to be critical of your accomplishments. They are fixated on keeping you from reaching goals you have yet to achieve. They want to stymie your development early on, as if destroying the foundation can somehow stop the rising building. They want you to construct their activities, however, betray their worries. Every effort to silence every critical statement merely reinforces the truth. They are hesitant to recognize you have something they cannot imitate. Instead of focusing their efforts on self-improvement, they devote it on dimming your flame. To see your potential, they would have to face their lack of desire and inability to go ahead. Their concerns originate from the realization that you are moving toward a goal they will never see. Your ability to develop, adapt, and overcome the restrictions that may exist is not a direct assault to them, but rather a sharp reminder of what they refuse to pursue. It is not your adventure that endangers them. It's incontrovertible evidence that people who refuse to accept less may achieve higher heights. Above all, they find it hard to confront the reality. No weapon made against you will flourish. Your light shines brightly, a monument to perseverance that elicits both respect and fear. Jealousy does not disappear. It fixates on turning appreciation into hatred. Those plagued by jealousy concentrate their eyes on you, not out of animosity, but because your presence forces them to face what they have avoided in their own lives. You remind people of their potential for strength. They are fearful. They are lacking, however. They pretend to be indifferent. Their acts indicate otherwise. They examine your every action, looking for weaknesses. Their concentration isn't on you. It's about what you represent: courage, confidence, and purpose. Instead of utilizing your accomplishment as motivation, they allowed resentment to take root, using their efforts to criticize rather than improve. However, their focus is a quiet recognition of your dominance. While they stay caught in bitterness, you go ahead unaffected by their diversions. Let their attention serve as a reminder. Your brightness shines too brightly to ignore. Continue walking in faith. The chosen one. Your mission is unstoppable. Admiration is often hidden beneath the veil of criticism, as some individuals cover their craving for characteristics they lack by converting their admiration into animosity. Those who launch assaults on you often do so not because they actually dislike you, but because they see something in you that they desperately want but are unable to embody. Your boldness, achievements, and capacity to stand out. They cause individuals distress by amplifying the emptiness they sense in their own lives. Instead of acknowledging their modest appreciation, they turn it into hatred. Facing their own flaws is much more difficult than pushing those anxieties outside. It's less about who you are and more about the standard you represent, which they can't reach. Criticism becomes a shield, a coping technique for the internal struggle of appreciating and envying you. Dear brothers and sisters, may the peace of God be with you today. I'm here to remind you of a fundamental fact. Our existence is based on God's divine design, which is unaffected by worldly worries. According to the Bible, everything is done with faith will be returned to God with great blessing. Luke 638. Our roots, like those of the huge oak tree, are firmly entrenched in God's universal truth. His power secures every stride and every stance we take. And now you have the chance to be a part of that gift. When you utilize the super thank you button and contribute $100, your generosity will be reciprocated 100-fold. Their focus is not based on apathy. To disprove, rumor, or cast doubt, you must put forth effort, which is motivated by the emotional weight you carry in your life. Your assurance heightens their doubts. Your achievement emphasizes their unmet aspirations. They don't disdain your successes. Rather than overtly acknowledging appreciation, your presence pushes people to create this comparison. They turn your strengths into weaknesses, accusing you of hubris or rejecting your achievement as a result of chance. These distortions make their world more comfortable, since pulling you down is simpler than rising oneself up. However, their efforts to dull your brightness highlight how important your existence is to them. The effort they put on disparaging you is an underlying acknowledgement of your impact, demonstrating that even their harshest statements are steeped in reluctant respect. Allowing them to condemn each jab serves as a quiet tribute to your influence. Resilience has a way of disclosing what others would want to keep buried. Each time you overcome obstacles or persevere in the face of hardship, you push people who struggle with their own limits to face a painful fact. It isn't only your accomplishments that annoy them. It is a sharp reminder of the strength they believe they lack. Your resolve reflects what they might have been if they had made a different choice. For many, seeing someone cross the same hard seas yet refuse to drown shatters the comfy narratives they've constructed around their own stagnant excuses, as if the odds were stacked against them. Alternatively, success is reserved for the fortunate few. Start to collapse. Your capacity to keep going ahead despite setbacks contradicts their justifications for being stationary, making your growth not only motivating but extremely disturbing to them. Nonetheless, they cannot turn away. They wait for you to fail, expecting that it would explain their choice to give up. But as you continue to excel, their anxiety deepens. They are disturbed by more than just your accomplishments. Endurance and fortitude serve as reminders of their own latent potential. They focus their dissatisfaction on you, not because you did anything wrong, but because your perseverance highlights their lost chances and moments of capitulation. People who lack tenacity often experience a severe sting when faced with individuals who refuse to give up. Your strength reflects their challenges, increasing the difference between their options and what they might accomplish. This introspection is difficult for them to avoid, and it is simpler to despise you than to confront the prospect of personal improvement. Their suffering does not lessen your quest. It reaffirms what it means to be selected. You are not alone on this path. If you have a profound sense that you have been selected, you have come to the correct spot. Take the next step to connect with us. By selecting the Join button, you will have access to special information and receive the necessary support for your spiritual journey. This isn't simply about being a member of a community. It's about gaining unique insights that may change your life and bring you closer to your divine purpose. Make your decision now and join us on this trip. Take your spot among the selected ones. Join today. The efforts to discredit you are not only about pulling you down. They are a request for acknowledgement from individuals who feel neglected. They lack the capacity to command attention on their own worth, so they cling on to your accomplishment in the hopes of increasing their prominence. Conflict becomes their preferred instrument, a method to insert themselves into your tale when their own seems inadequate. By attacking you, they are looking for approval in a realm that they cannot acquire on their own. The irony is difficult to overlook. They wouldn't bother with you if you were unimportant. Instead, your presence draws forth their frustrations and goals. They see something in you that they can't ignore, whether it's your achievements, influence, or the natural command of attention. Instead of striving for their own development, they try to take part of your attention by opposing you. Making problems becomes their method of claiming significance. As controversy usually attracts attention, your fear is your strength. Prepare to ascend. Subscribe now, and let's spark greatness together. At its foundation, this conduct indicates despair in the absence of a compelling personal direction. They try to attach themselves to yours, believing that by causing friction, they will become a part of the discourse. Harsh comments, unjustified criticism, or efforts to undermine are not pronouncements of truth that demand to be heard. They assume that by opposing you, they may increase their own status. What they don't realize is that these gestures just accentuate their insecurity and reliance on your influence. Ironically, their attempts to belittle you actually strengthen your position. The attention they bring to their criticism unintentionally strengthens your importance while they seek for relevance. You continue to set the standard, not because of their loudness, but because of your indisputable influence. Their efforts to detract from your accomplishments just confirm what they want to deny. You are the focal point for a reason. Envy seldom stands alone. It feeds on communal affirmation, gaining traction when people with similar fears band together. The weight of their discontent is intolerable in solitude, so they seek out others who share their displeasure. They work together to create a common foe by exaggerating stale tales, distorting realities, and highlighting small imperfections. Their animosity evolves into a collaborative effort, changing their own sentiments into what they promote as a valid cause. At its heart, this dynamic isn't about you. It's a method they employ to justify their own dissatisfaction by directing blame elsewhere, persuading themselves and others that you're the issue. They briefly protect themselves from self-reflection. It is simpler to accept a common narrative of criticism than to address their own shortcomings. What emerges is not a search for the truth, but a concerted effort to undermine your successes via baseless charges or thinly disguised judgments. The more people they enlist to their side, the more certain they are in their bitterness. However, their joint effort does not weaken you. It exposes their own weakness. The reliance on group agreement highlights the absence of internal confidence. They fail to see that the power of a mob based on jealousy and hatred is empty. It lives on mutual discontent rather than togetherness, making it liable to collapse due to its own negativity. Their focus on you eventually works against them. The more they focus on knocking you down, the more they highlight your importance by making you the center of their talks. In their efforts to overshadow your successes, they unwittingly increase your exposure and influence. They just emphasize your capacity to demand attention and persevere in the face of their jealousy. Their aggregate energy becomes a testimonial to your influence, demonstrating once again that jealousy promotes illogical behavior and misdirected efforts. Their anger is often motivated by how others gravitate toward you. People instinctively regard you with respect, admiration, and real love. You are not only acknowledging your character, they are stark reminders of some of what they strive to achieve. Seeing you create meaningful relationships and get genuine validation strikes a chord with them, exposing the disparity between their reality and what they want. What annoys them isn't only your accomplishments or popularity. It is the sensation of being unnoticed. Unlike you, who thrives in an atmosphere of acceptance and admiration, they feel excluded, locked by fears that prevent them from forming comparable friendships. The warmth you draw exacerbates their feeling of isolation, making it easier for them to vent their frustrations at you rather than tackle the deeper issues they encounter. This irritation is seldom the result of something you've done personally. Instead, it highlights what people believe to be missing in themselves. They see the commitment and love you create and wonder why they can't do the same. It is not about you being more worthy. It is about their dread of falling short in ways they cannot express. Your capacity to connect serves as a mirror, reflecting their unfulfilled emotional needs and goals. The more you are accepted and applauded, the more difficult it is for them to see. Their resentment is not caused by your achievement. It's what your achievement says about their own challenges. Your ability to form deep relationships feels like a flashlight shining on the gaps they avoid filling. Every minute you're acknowledged serves as a reminder of what they perceive as lacking, making your presence an ongoing challenge to their self-perception. Join the trip. Subscribe now, and let's make greatness happen. The allure of success frequently blinds individuals to the sacrifices required. They perceive awards, recognition, and a position of influence. They are ignorant to the challenges, disappointments, and unwavering work that made it all possible. What people want is not the route, but the destination. They desire for the benefits. Instead of suffering the process and appreciating the work required, they chose to be discredited, crafting a story about how your accomplishments came easy or without merit. They want the benefits of your effort without ever sowing their own seeds. They would not dare to suffer the long hours of commitment, the emotional toll of disappointments, or the perseverance necessary to go ahead. However, they are envious of the results and try to minimize the hard effort that went into them, telling themselves and others that success is more luck than decision. This helps them conceal their own flaws, allowing them to disregard your experience as less legitimate. Believing you were simply gifted everything you've developed is a more comfortable position than confronting the reality that every milestone you've achieved is the product of constant and purposeful work. Their efforts to minimize your successes are more than simply complaints. They put doubt on your achievements, reflecting their unwillingness to follow in your footsteps. They attempt to excuse their own inactivity while concealing their unwillingness to perform equivalent actions. What they don't realize is that diminishing your path simply increases their distance from it. Each attempt to destroy what you've achieved demonstrates their inability to pay the cost of endurance. No matter how hard they attempt to undermine your achievements, they will never be able to reproduce what you have accomplished. Their jealousy only reinforces what they are afraid to confess. The cost of success is bravery, perseverance, and resilience, which they have yet to embrace. When envy takes hold, it goes beyond ordinary displeasure. It distorts perception. Those consumed by jealousy often turn to creating lies, manipulating events, or constructing misleading narratives in an effort to change how others see you. They understand that they cannot compete with your accomplishments or equal your talents. So they focus their attention on changing the tale to fit their insecurities. Is their ultimate goal more than simply to discredit you? It is to create a version of reality in which their shortcomings seem less obvious. These errors extend well beyond casual conversations. They are purposeful attempts to destroy your reputation by presenting you as worthless, full of fear, or undeserved. They want to downplay the significance of your achievements. The defects they fabricate act as a veil, allowing them to justify their jealousy and align others with their viewpoint. However, the more effort they put into twisting the reality, the more obvious it becomes that your achievement disturbs them in ways they cannot openly face. What they fail to comprehend is that their fabrications amplify rather than weaken your power. If you weren't doing well, they wouldn't feel the need to warp reality in the first place. Their acts are a tacit indication that you have had an influence. They can't disregard the tales they disseminate in order to reduce your value. Instead, demonstrate their reluctance to accept the reality of your accomplishment. Regardless of how many falsehoods are spoken, the truth stays constant. Your success is the result of hard work, perseverance, and genuineness. Their efforts to change the story are worthless against the foundation you've laid. The truth, steadfast and unmistakable, rises above the twisted stories, demonstrating again and again that your position has been legitimately won. The incapacity to influence your destiny is what genuinely disturbs individuals driven by jealousy. They live on the thought that their approval is required and that they have the ability to affirm or reject accomplishment. Watching you advance without seeking their approval causes them to face an unpleasant reality. Their impact on your trip is non-existent. Your independence deprives them of the power they so badly need, allowing them to grapple with their own irrelevance. It is not just that you succeed, it's that you do it unashamedly, free of their approval. While many succumb to expectations or seek recognition, your ability to craft your own path distinguishes you. This reluctance to depend on external approval calls into question all of their assumptions about how progress should function. They believe that success needs permission from the proper people, and you've disproven that notion by demonstrating the opposite. Every achievement you make without their involvement exacerbates their uneasiness. It emphasizes their own need for frequent affirmation, which contrasts dramatically with your self-reliance. Their dissatisfaction deepens with each of your accomplishments, since it reminds them of their shrinking role in your life. For them, your independent advice serves as a stark reminder of their own reliance on external validation. Ultimately, their animosity is a reflection of their inner turmoil. It's not your achievements that matter, but their incapacity to survive without approbation. Their jealousy reflects the difficulty of confronting someone who personifies resilience and liberty. However, their efforts to minimize you simply demonstrate their lack of comprehension. Your success is the result of labor and self-belief, not chance or privilege. No amount of bitterness or criticism can dull the brightness that you have created by your own efforts. Their displeasure does not determine your value. It shows their own limits. Keep pushing ahead with confidence. The hostility you experience is evidence of your growth and the influence you are having. Each effort to undermine you demonstrates that your achievement is earned, not given, and that your resolve develops with each step. Your power is derived from inside, not from affirmation or criticism. By surviving despite adversity, you inspire others and demonstrate that genuine success does not need approval. Allow their jealousy to strengthen your determination, knowing that your light cannot be quenched. Stay dedicated, rise above, and keep flourishing. You're precisely where you need to be.